God says, listen closely, my beloved soul, because what you are hearing right now is not noise, not coincidence, and not something random you just stumbled upon. This is a moment that was prepared long before you ever pressed play. Heaven has been watching you quietly, patiently, lovingly. And today, the silence has broken. Today, your Father in heaven decided it was time for you to hear his heart. Before the world shaped you, before pain taught you to be strong, before disappointment taught you to be quiet, you were already known. You were already seen. You were already loved. And even when you felt distant, distracted, or unsure, heaven never lost sight of you. This message did not chase many people. It was directed. It was guided. It was meant to land exactly where you are right now. Archangel Michael stands as a witness to this moment. Not as a figure of fear, but as a guardian of truth and protection. He says that your Father has been speaking softly to you for a long time, through thoughts you couldn't explain, through moments that touched your heart unexpectedly, through strength that showed up when you had none left. And now, that voice is becoming clear. Your Father in heaven wants you to know something important. You were never behind, you were never forgotten, and you were never overlooked. Even the delays in your life were not denials. They were protection. They were preparation. They were moments where heaven was arranging things in ways you could not yet see. What felt like waiting was actually shaping. What felt like silence was actually guidance. There are things you blamed yourself for that heaven never blamed you for. There are seasons you thought defined you that heaven only saw as chapters, not the whole story. Your Father has watched every time you chose kindness when it was easier to become hard, every time you held on when letting go felt simpler, every time you kept faith quietly without applause. None of it went unnoticed. Archangel Michael says this message comes now because your heart is ready to receive it. Not because you are perfect, but because you are honest. Not because you never doubted, but because you never fully gave up. Heaven responds to that kind of heart. A heart that keeps going even when it doesn't understand. Your Father in heaven is not asking you to be afraid. He is not rushing you. He is not testing you. He is inviting you to rest in the truth that you are guided, protected, and deeply valued. Some answers will come gently. Some clarity will arrive step by step. But you are not walking alone, even when it feels quiet. There is a calm being placed over your thoughts right now. A reassurance settling into your spirit. That is not imagination. That is alignment. It is the feeling of being remembered. The feeling of being held without being controlled. The feeling of knowing that even if the road ahead is still unfolding, you are walking it with purpose. Your Father knows what you worry about when no one is around. He knows the questions you replay in your mind late at night. He knows the hopes you protect because you're afraid to expect too much. And still, He says you are safe to trust again. Safe to hope again. Safe to believe that your story is still being written with care. Archangel Michael says to remind you of this. Nothing meant for you will pass you by. What aligns with your soul will find you at the right time. What is not meant for you cannot stay, no matter how tightly you hold it. This is not loss. This is guidance. This is refinement. This is love that sees further than you can. So stay present with this moment. Let it settle instead of rushing past it. Let peace do its quiet work. You don't need to force anything right now. Just receive. Just breathe. Just remember that heaven has not been silent. It has been intentional. And if this message touched something deep inside you, if it felt personal in a way you can't explain, that is because it was meant to reach you, not the crowd. God says, "My beloved child, now that you are still here, I want you to understand why your heart feels heavier yet calmer at the same time." That feeling is not confusion. It is recognition. It is the moment your soul realizes that it is being spoken to directly, without masks, without noise, without pressure. Heaven does not rush the heart. Heaven waits until the heart is ready to listen without fear. Your Father in heaven knows how much you have carried without saying a word. He knows the strength you showed outwardly while quietly questioning inwardly. There were moments you smiled for others while holding yourself together in private. Moments when you said, "I'm fine," because explaining the truth felt exhausting. Heaven saw all of it. And heaven never judged you for it. Archangel Michael says there were times when you thought your prayers were too small, too repetitive, or spoken too late. But heaven does not measure prayers by volume or perfection. Heaven listens for honesty. Even the prayers you never finished, even the thoughts that never became words, were understood. Your Father heard them before you could organize them. You are not weak for feeling tired. You are not faithless for asking questions. You are human, and heaven understands humanity better than anyone. That is why grace followed you even when you didn't notice it. That is why protection surrounded you even when you felt exposed. That is why certain things did not work out, even when you wanted them to. Not everything that feels good is good for your future. Your Father wants you to release the idea that you must constantly prove yourself to deserve peace. Peace is not a reward. It is a gift. And right now, peace is being offered to you in layers. Slowly. Gently. In a way that does not overwhelm your heart. This message is one of those layers. Archangel Michael says that your life is not stalled, it is aligning. There is a difference. Stagnation drains you. Alignment steadies you. Alignment may feel quiet, but it is powerful. It means pieces are moving into place beneath the surface. It means what is meant to meet you is being timed correctly. It means you are being spared from paths that would have cost you more than they gave. Your Father in heaven does not see you as late. He sees you as preserved. There were versions of you that would not have survived what you are about to step into. So heaven waited. Strengthened you. Softened you where you needed compassion, and hardened you where you needed boundaries. Growth does not always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like endurance. There are relationships you outgrew without realizing it. Dreams that changed shape because your understanding deepened. Desires that faded because your soul knew they were temporary. None of this was failure. It was refinement. Heaven is not interested in rushing you into something you are not aligned with just to prove a point. Archangel Michael says your father is especially close to you in seasons where you feel misunderstood. When words fail you. When explaining yourself feels pointless. Heaven understands you without requiring explanation. That is why you feel moments of calm without knowing why. That is why clarity comes in silence, not noise. Right now, something is being healed quietly inside you. Not everything heals loudly. Some healing happens when you finally stop blaming yourself for things that were never yours to carry. Some healing happens when you accept that you did the best you could with what you knew at the time. Heaven honors effort, not perfection. Your Father wants you to know that the future is not something you need to fear or control. You are being guided step by step. You will not miss what is meant for you. You will not accidentally walk away from what aligns with your soul. What belongs to you will recognize you when the time is right. Archangel Michael says you are learning discernment, not distance. You are learning when to hold on and when to let go. When to speak and when silence is wiser. When to trust your intuition instead of doubting it. These lessons are not punishment. They are preparation for peace that lasts, not excitement that fades. There is a softness returning to your heart that you once thought was gone forever. A quiet hope. A sense that maybe, just maybe, things are unfolding in a way you don't need to fight anymore. That feeling is not weakness. It is safety. It is the sign that you are no longer surviving, you are stabilizing. Your Father in heaven is not finished speaking to you. This is only the continuation of a conversation that has always existed between your soul and Him. You are learning how to listen without fear, without rushing, without assuming the worst. Trust is being rebuilt from the inside out. Stay with this message. Let it breathe. Let it settle. Nothing needs to be forced right now. You are exactly where you need to be, God says, my beloved child, now listen with a calmer heart, because what I speak to you now is not about fixing you, correcting you, or pushing you to become someone else. It is about reminding you of who you already are beneath the weight you have carried for so long. You were never broken. You were burdened. And burdens can be lifted without damaging the soul that carried them. There were seasons when you felt like you were doing everything right, yet nothing seemed to move forward. That confusion did not mean you were off track. It meant heaven was protecting you from outcomes you could not yet see. Some doors remain closed not because you are unworthy, but because walking through them too early would have changed you in ways you were never meant to be changed. Archangel Michael says your Father has watched how carefully you guard your heart now, how selective you have become with your energy, your trust, your time. This is not coldness. This is wisdom. You learned the cost of overgiving. You learned the pain of being present where you were not valued. Heaven does not call that bitterness. Heaven calls that discernment. Your Father knows how deeply you feel things, even when you pretend you don't. You absorb words, silences, changes in tone, shifts in energy. You notice what others overlook. That sensitivity is not a weakness to be removed, it is a strength to be guided. When aligned, it allows you to see truth without needing proof. It allows you to walk away from harm before it arrives. It allows you to recognize sincerity without explanation. There were moments when you asked yourself if you were asking for too much, expecting too much, hoping too much. Heaven says no. You were simply asking from a heart that knows what genuine connection feels like. Settling was never meant for you. That is why some situations fell apart even when you tried to hold them together. They could not sustain the depth you carry. Archangel Michael says your father has been especially near you during moments when you felt emotionally alone, even while surrounded by people. Loneliness is not always the absence of company, sometimes it is the absence of understanding. Heaven understands you fully. The parts you struggle to explain, the feelings that don't fit into simple words, the thoughts you keep revisiting late at night, none of that is foreign to God. You are entering a phase where your inner world is becoming quieter, not emptier. There is a difference. Quiet allows clarity. Quiet allows healing. Quiet allows you to hear your own intuition again without interference. This is why you may feel less drawn to chaos, less interested in proving yourself, less willing to chase validation. You are not losing passion. You are gaining stability. Your father wants you to stop measuring progress by speed. Growth is not always visible in movement. Sometimes growth looks like staying grounded when old patterns try to pull you back. Sometimes it looks like responding differently to triggers that once controlled you. Sometimes it looks like choosing peace over being right. Heaven celebrates these changes, even when no one else notices. Archangel Michael says the reason you feel a quiet confidence forming inside you is because your identity is no longer being shaped by reactions. You are no longer defined by who stayed, who left, who approved, or who doubted you. You are being anchored in something deeper, self-respect guided by faith, not fear. There are blessings approaching your life that require emotional readiness more than excitement. They require patience, clarity, and boundaries. This is why heaven took time with you. Not to delay you, but to prepare you. What is coming is not meant to drain you. It is meant to complement you. It will not ask you to shrink or overextend yourself to keep it. Your Father in heaven sees the way you still choose kindness even after disappointment, the way you still believe in goodness even after being hurt, the way you still hope quietly even when you don't say it out loud. That resilience did not go unnoticed. It shaped you into someone who can receive without fear of loss. Archangel Michael says there are conversations you will soon have that feel different. Calmer. Clearer. More honest. You will notice yourself speaking without anxiety, listening without defensiveness, and responding without needing control. This is a sign that healing is settling in, not just visiting temporarily. Your Father wants you to know that the future does not require you to be on guard all the time. You will recognize safety by how natural it feels, not by how intense it is. What aligns with you will not demand constant effort to maintain. It will flow in a way that respects your limits and honors your presence. You are allowed to trust again, but not blindly. You are allowed to hope again, but not desperately. You are allowed to open your heart again, but not without wisdom. Heaven is guiding you into balanced faith, faith that believes without abandoning discernment. Archangel Michael says this phase of your life is about integration. Bringing together who you were, what you learned, and who you are becoming. Nothing was wasted. Even the confusion taught you clarity. Even the pain taught you boundaries. Even the waiting taught you patience. Stay steady. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are not forgotten. You are becoming aligned with a life that fits you more honestly than anything you left behind. God says, "My beloved child, now listen carefully, because what I speak to you here is the completion of what your heart has been sensing for a long time but could not fully understand." There are moments in life when nothing dramatic happens on the outside, yet everything changes on the inside. This is one of those moments. You are standing at a quiet turning point, where heaven is not rushing you forward but gently aligning your steps so you do not repeat what once broke you. Archangel Michael says your Father has been watching how you learn to sit with uncertainty without running from it. You stopped forcing answers. You stopped begging clarity from people who could not give it. You learned to breathe even when the future felt undefined. That patience did not weaken you, it refined you. It taught you how to remain whole even when outcomes were unclear. There were days when you felt like you were losing parts of yourself, your excitement, your softness, your openness. But heaven says you were not losing them, you were protecting them. You were learning when to offer your heart and when to keep it sacred. Not everything deserves access to your inner world. That realization alone has shifted your destiny more than you know. Your Father knows the quiet fears you never speak out loud. The fear of trusting again. The fear of hoping too much. The fear of being misunderstood after finally understanding yourself. Heaven does not judge those fears. Heaven meets them with reassurance. You are not walking into the same chapter again. You are walking into a wiser version of yourself, carrying lessons instead of wounds. Archangel Michael says something important is settling into your life slowly, not suddenly, because sudden things once overwhelmed you. This time, what is coming will feel steady, respectful, and grounded. It will not arrive with confusion. It will not demand urgency. It will not pressure you to change who you are to keep it. It will recognize you as you are and meet you at eye level. Your Father wants you to know that peace is now your confirmation. If something costs you your peace, it is not meant to stay. If something nurtures your peace, it deserves patience. You are no longer required to prove your worth through endurance. You do not need to survive situations to be validated. Heaven has already validated you. There is a strength forming in you that does not raise its voice. It does not need to dominate conversations or explain itself repeatedly. It simply stands firm. This strength allows you to say no without guilt, yes without fear, and wait without anxiety. This is the strength that lasts. This is the strength heaven builds when it plans to entrust you with something meaningful. Archangel Michael says your Father has heard every quiet prayer you whispered without expectation. Not the loud one spoken in desperation, but the small honest one spoken in surrender. Those prayers carried truth. They carried humility. They carried trust. And heaven responds to those kinds of prayers with precision, not spectacle. You are entering a season where your discernment will protect you before harm even appears. You will sense when something is not aligned without needing evidence. You will feel when to step forward and when to pause. This is not intuition alone, this is guidance refined by experience and faith working together. Your Father wants you to stop questioning whether you deserve good things to last. You were never meant to live in cycles of almost, nearly, or temporarily. Stability is not boring. Consistency is not dull. Safety is not weakness. These are the environments where your true self thrives, and heaven is leading you there deliberately. Archangel Michael says relationships, opportunities, and paths that enter your life now will mirror the respect you have finally learned to give yourself. You will notice the difference immediately. Less confusion. Less emotional exhaustion. Less overthinking. More clarity. More balance. More calm. This is how alignment feels. Do not rush this season. It is building something within you that will not collapse under pressure. Let things unfold naturally. Let people reveal themselves over time. Let situations show their truth without you forcing outcomes. What is real will remain. What is not will fade without confrontation. Your Father in heaven is not testing you anymore. He is trusting you. Trusting your growth. Trusting your discernment. Trusting your heart to recognize what belongs with it. You are no longer being prepared. You are being positioned. Archangel Michael says remember this moment, not because it was loud, but because it was honest. Because it spoke to the part of you that does not need drama to feel divine presence. Because it reminded you that God's guidance is often gentle, steady, and deeply personal. You are not late. You are not missing out. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be to receive. What will stay? And as this message comes to a close, heaven wants to ask you something, not to pressure you, but to invite you. If this message resonated with your heart, if you felt calm instead of fear, clarity instead of urgency, and peace instead of confusion, then don't let this moment pass silently, like this video, so this message reaches others who need it. Comment what you felt while listening, even one word is enough. Share this with someone who may need reassurance today. And subscribe to stay connected, because messages like this are not random, they meet you exactly where you are.